Breaking news, have you heard this?
No.
Breaking news, Tom Homan in a press conference right now saying that he's gotten cooperation from so many more counties for the police officers, the local police officers, to hand over illegal immigrants who make their way to jail, if they end up being charged. So they're being handed over now, and now Homan is drawing down 700 officers.
So Minnesota is being less sanctuary city-like.
Yes, that would appear to be the case.
Well, good. You know what? Let's get some instant reaction from Matthew Hurtt joining us on Super Talk 99.7. Matthew, great news, actually. I think, clearly I hate Minnesota, but that's great. That's great news for Tom Homan, and it's good for the community there as well, because ultimately what it is going to lead to is more of these illegal aliens getting out of here.
Well, Dan, I'm calling in from the hallway, but, this is exactly
what? You know what? I already know I'm getting ridiculed left and right for I guess you know what would have been even better is that, and you should have thought about this, Sam. I don't know what you did when I was not in my chair for the minute or so that I wasn't in my chair. Best thing you could have done was gone ahead and turn on my camera and have a 1 minute of just an empty chair.
Yeah.
And then all the listeners would be like, well, we can't tell the difference. Empty chair?
Yeah.
I got it.
I thought I was here for the Joan and Sam show. But look, Dan, you and I have talked about this for weeks. If Minnesota had done this 6 months ago, we would not have seen this. And we see it in places like Houston and many other cities largely in red states where law enforcement and the administration, the governor and the mayor, has complied with federal law. We don't have the deaths of leftist protesters. We don't even have those kinds of interactions. The federal government is responsible, and President Trump is responsible for upholding federal law. And that is what he is doing through immigration and customs enforcement. And only in a place like Minnesota have we had these kinds of adverse interactions with leftists, and all the way up and down the leadership chain. And so finally we're seeing, with Tom Homan at the helm, a change in the tone and the tenor. And this is, but this is something that should have happened 6-8 months ago. Follow federal law. Don't be the governor or the mayor and encourage your citizens to flout federal law and to fight back against not only the protests, but to fight back against federal law enforcement, to obstruct justice. And so this is it's a breath of fresh air from Minnesota, but it is a long time coming. All they had to do was follow federal law last year, and we wouldn't have all of this chaos.
All right. So, is the change the presence of Tom Homan? Is the change that suddenly they just, for whatever reason, decided now was the time to start cooperating? It almost, you know what it feels like? It feels like Trump needed to give Tim Walz and Jacob Fry and so forth almost like a way out. Like, you know what? If you can give us a thing, and that thing is getting rid of Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino, and you bring in Tom Homan, that is something that we can, sort of tell our people, look, they got rid of those two folks, and now we are going to start cooperating, and they can claim that as a victory.
Dan, cynical DC me says that's exactly what happened. Switching out the people running the show from the federal position. That's the easiest answer to the question. It's the most likely answer to the question. It gives Governor Walz and the mayor cover to change tactics a bit, and I think that is probably the most likely answer to the question.
All right. So from a political standpoint, we're gonna talk about. At this point, I think that Donald Trump can declare victory as well, because you literally just said it, which is, had they done this all those many months ago, then Alex Petty and Renee Good would still be alive today. More with Matthew Hurtt coming up next. So can Trump claim some sort of a victory here? I believe that he can in Minnesota. Then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think so, Dan.
Well, You could expand upon that a little bit if you want.
Oh, I thought we were moving on. Yeah, I think so. I think again, this is the continuation of federal immigration policy. It is played out like a boring radio manual in almost every other city, and now we finally have local elected officials who were resist at all costs because Orange Man bad, and now President Trump is fully executing on federal immigration policy in Minnesota. I think this is a win for President Trump.
All right, so a huge, massive win for the American people, Matthew Hurtt. The government is now fully functional. Now, I'm putting fully functional in air quotes, by the way.
You didn't even know it was closed. How long did this one last? About 15 minutes? I didn't even, Kalshi, and again, we're not providing betting advice here, but Kalshi had this, closed until next week. And, the American people can rest easy because bureaucrats are back in the office today.
But you want to talk about a victory, though. You had 21 Democrats, just to get to the nuts and bolts of politics. 21 Democrats came over and crossed party lines to help this get passed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen left-wing Twitter or X or wherever they are now, Blue Sky, absolutely apoplectic. So not only was this is a win, we're getting through, although, lurching from one spending crisis to the next is not the way that I prefer Washington, D.C. to operate, but this is a win for the president, and the far left is absolutely outraged that a handful of their members, crossed party lines to reopen the government.
So the SAVE Act has been something that I've been talking about off and on this morning. And ultimately, this comes down to ultimately, it's going to come down to the filibuster. But, you got some people that are saying that, all right, so this would be the Republicans trying to, and I'm going to air quote this, nationalize the vote. There's some people, and appropriately, I guess, enough, saying that, this would take away states' rights. I understand that the Democrats, if the Republicans don't do it, the Democrats will when they get the opportunity. I think they learned from the last time they tried to get it pushed through when the Democrats were in power and they tried to do their own nationalizing of the vote that, they probably learned from the past. And I think if the Republicans don't do this now, then the Democrats will definitely nationalize the vote, and they'll say that nobody needs any kind of ID to register to vote or to show during the voting process.
Well, I do think in about 250 years of American history, we've had states and localities carry out the process of elections. Should there be federal or national guidelines like a photo ID, perhaps, and so this is important. I think that what most voters want to know is that when they go in to vote, that only citizens are voting, that citizen is proving who he or she is, and that the ballot that they cast can be is recorded accurately, cannot be tampered with at any point in the process, and that at some point after an election, there could be an audit that takes place. That is to say, all of the ballots could be rescanned. Now, when people say hand count ballots, what hand counting means in practice is that they're optical scans. So if you fill in a bubble, it goes into an optical scan machine. That is a hand count for those who are maybe think that somebody counts each ballot. But so a process that is secure at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, where only people who are allowed to vote should be allowed to vote. The Trump administration and many on the right say easy to vote, hard to cheat, and I think that is what a framework would look like that would satisfy most reasonable people. 80% of Americans think that elections should be secure and that only people who are allowed to vote should be allowed to vote.
Have you been paying attention to the whole train wreckery of NES out here in Tennessee?
I have. I snuck into town last week to check it out firsthand, and it is, my heart goes out to the folks who have been without power for days and days. I saw there was In Old Hickory, there was a plant store that had an insurance issue that made the local news over the weekend. It is absolutely insane, the bureaucracy and sort of the self-congratulating. I will say congratulations to you guys on 99.7 for really covering this all the way. I mean, every time I tuned in last week, somebody was talking about what was happening in NES, and the listeners are tuned in on it, and you guys were tuned in on it, and I think it was a really important service that you provided to the public. Do
you think, because Freddie O'Connell now has set up this commission, I'm saying this, every time I say this, I laugh. Freddie O'Connell, mayor, has set up a commission to investigate what went wrong with NES. He's got two people from Metro City Council. The other seven will be appointees of Freddie O'Connell. I believe that Freddie O'Connell himself, the mayor, needs to be investigated as well as NES. This commission, we're not going to find out anything for a year. And you and I mean, Matthew Hurtt, you and I both have been in management. I've been in management for decades, thank God no more. But if there is a hair on fire crisis, I find out what is going on like literally right now. A year? Why are we not able to get any kind of quicker resolve to all of this?
Yeah, I've known Freddie for 15 or 16 years. He's an unserious person. I can't believe Nashville elected a leftist activist as mayor. This is something, look, service providers they're accountable to the people they provide the service to. There's no reason why this commission or some kind of investigation can't operate a little more quickly. Who sent emails, made phone calls, who was on staff to dig into all of that and figure out what happened and release something to the public. And a commission should not be a bunch of insiders. Sure, there should be experts and people who know, but why not put a lineman on that commission? Why not put somebody, a business owner on that commission who saw firsthand what happened and really take public comment and feedback? I think this was, again, the city and NES dropped the ball to such a significant degree, and there needs to be accountability, and it can't be in 2027 and beyond.
No, I think part of this is Freddie wants this to go past his attempt at reelection, and so that if there's any kind of focus when they do this this research and whatever, this investigation, if there's any blowback on Freddie himself, then I think that he wants it past him running for reelection. I think that's maybe part of it.
Yeah, this is absolutely a pass the buck opportunity. He would not be able to be held accountable in an election cycle. It's just not what a city elected official would do.
All right, very good. 8:23. Matthew, did we miss anything?
Ronald Reagan's birthday is Friday.
I did know that, actually. Ronald, what are you going to do to celebrate his birthday?
Well, my birthday is tomorrow, so I think we're gonna. I think President Reagan was an excellent. He articulated the American dream. America was in a resurgence in the Reagan administration, the first candidate to say "Make America Great Again," and I think it is important for conservatives to know that leadership under President Reagan and under President Trump, we are making America great again. So just spend the weekend thinking about ways to make America great again.
You this is what I do late at night on the weekends. I'll go to like YouTube and I'll look at old Reagan videos.
Oh, I thought you prepared for Red Eye Radio, but that is also a good thing to do on the weekend.
I like his, and I know that it may be macabre, but like when the space shuttle blew up, that was one of those incredible Reagan moments. And also when I forget exactly the context, but when he said something about we're going to start bombing the Russians in 10 minutes.
There is a reason why we call him the great communicator, and he could speak to America's greatness. He could speak to us in a time of pain and heartache and sorrow, and he could speak to what we could be if we achieved those principles. And I think it is important to remember his legacy as we celebrate his birthday this weekend.
You ever been to the Reagan Library in Simi Valley, California?
I have been. The Leadership Institute where I teach, we held a youth leadership school, which is our flagship 2-day training. We've got one in Nashville in April where we teach people how to go out and run campaigns, youth campaigns, like what President Reagan's campaign did in 1980 and 1984. I've been out there.
It is my bucket. People know this. I'm boring people, but that is my absolute bucket list. I've got to get out to the Reagan Library in Simi Valley before I die. Hopefully I've got a lot of time.
Next time you head out there, it sounds like we're skipping a break, but maybe here in the summer we can get you out there, Dan.
All right, very good. Thank you. I don't know what you mean by that, but yes, absolutely. Is he offering me a free trip to California? You know what, Matthew, if you want me to be like a guest speaker I can impart all of my knowledge that I have that somehow I can't use to get back to the studio on time, but whatever, I'll absolutely take you up on that. Is this supposed to be like something I'm supposed to care about? Joan, what is this?
No idea.
Good. I did not want to be the first one to admit that I have no idea if I'm supposed to care.
Like you, I'm way uncool.
It's Victory
by
Biggie Smalls.
What is it again? Because Sam didn't have your mic on.
Victory by Biggie Smalls.
Victory by Biggie Smalls. Okay.
It's awesome.
I don't know if I would say that this show has been victorious in nature. As a matter of fact, I've been getting mocked incessantly on the super text line for a number of different reasons. One guy says, and this is Nick, hey, Joan, because a number of people said this, and I didn't know that I did this. Did you notice it too? Dan, he says M-A-N-I-S. Nick, it's M-A-N-D-I-S, Mandis, talks at an 8th grade English level all through his show until he has a guest on. Then he tries to sound smart using big words that he makes up that have no meaning. Did I make up a word during my Hans? Listen.
Indubitably. Yes.
I am not above making up words, but I don't think I made up a word during my interview with Hans von Spakovsky, did I?
You go full Neil Cavuto during your interviews? You're like, yes.
No, I'm not smart enough to do that. Okay. Did I make up a word, Sam? I mean, I know that I made up a word after the interview with Hans von Spakovsky when I said that you were dressed dapperly.
I'm dressed dapperly.
Yeah.
That's a real word, though.
It is a real word. People started to hit me up on the super text line. Oh, there's Mandis making up words again. I can we be honest? I was really lucky that was actually a word. Oh, I had no idea.
You quickly panic Googled it.
I had Sam do it.
You seem like you gamble when you play Scrabble.
Listen, I will admit that a couple of things. Number one, I'm not always the most eloquent with the English language.
Oh, shut up.
But I will also admit that there are times when I use, bigger words. I don't do that intentionally during the interview. Sometimes I go back and forth between 8th grade Dan and
Word of the Day calendar, Dan.
Word of the Day calendar, Dan. That's exactly right. I know we talked about doing Word of the Day at some point. All right. If I don't do this now, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Was there something, Chris Hand and Joan Jones and Sam, where you admitted to your parents when you were an adult of something that you were doing that you lied to them about early on? I'll give my example again and I said this right at the beginning of the 6th, where I admitted to my mom in my 40s that Cheryl and I were not actually studying in my room in high school. And it was funny because I would always tell that to my mom. And, she would be like, okay, honey. And then at one point, she did make mention of the fact that I was doing all of that studying in my room with Cheryl, but I was still flunking biology. So there was that. So, and she truly was mad at me.
Well, that's because you were studying anatomy instead of biology.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That was the first thing I heard from your show this morning. I went out to warm up the car, and I hear Joan go, "Your mom let you have a girl in your room with the door closed?" And you go, "We were studying." And then I just that was all I heard. I didn't hear any of the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know.
So you were lying to your mother?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wasn't the only time. Listen, she threw away my baseball cards. So
you had carte blanche at that point.
Absolutely.
Wheels were off.
She had no problem throwing away my.
Damn it, those baseball cards! I might as well threaten her with an early child.
I'm going to make her a grandma for this.
I'm going to make her a grandma at 45. No. Anyway, moving right along.
People do.
Yeah, so that was mine. And yeah, she said if I could ground you, I would. It's like, too late. You can't retroactively do it.
Yeah, I don't have one. At least nothing
all the people.
Yeah, right?
Nothing I've ever admitted to.
Okay.
I think that's
Is anything okay, so
that's what I'll lean on. I'll take these secrets to my grave.
I met your father, is salt of the earth kind of guy.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to admit to your dad right now on the radio?
Al, you listening?
Come on, man, do it for the bit.
I'll admit it. I knew I was your favorite kid growing up. And that's even though you said you loved us all equally, we all knew. No, I haven't owned up to any of the things, actually.
No?
Okay. They're in the vault.
Okay, very good. You should just throw down one for your dad.
I'll start
not on the air, but
I'll start making a list. And then I'll wait until he's, really at the tail end. And I'll be like, Dad, I have a book here.
I've got a pad of paper with 100 things on it, 100 pages. You want to start writing? Anyway, All right, Sam, go.
Okay, so I did fess up that I used to sneak out my senior year. I would, my parents' house is on a slight incline with the driveway, and I would take my 99 Nissan Altima, put it in neutral, push it all the way up to the top of our driveway, and then roll it down the hill, get to the bottom, and start it, and then go hang out with my friends.
That's awesome.
All right.
Well, whilst carrying potential paraphernalia and other items I was underage in possession of.
And you told them that?
Yeah.
And what did they say?
Child.
They said, so that's why the screen was ripped out of your room? I was like, yep. That's why there was no screen on my window.
Okay. There you go. And were they angry at you as an adult?
I bet they wish they had a family key hook back then that they could have mandated all keys to all vehicles be on at a certain time in the evening. And maybe security cameras, something they still haven't done anything about. And we've had a car stolen out of that driveway.
Listen, at least you have a car that's good enough to be stolen. Have you seen mine?
It was not. Actually, we were about to donate it to a church, and then it was stolen and used in a shooting. And we know that because they left the magazine in the back when we got it back from impound.
All right, Joan.
Glock store is not the only place you get a free mag when you mention WTN.
Hey, get that on the tape for the folks at Glock store. That was brilliant. That was brilliant, Joan.
So I got caught. I got caught at a drinking party once, but so I ended up telling my parents that I told them I went to a friend's house to go sleep over, but I knew they knew that I wasn't there. So we're all drinking in our friend's apartment, and there's a knock at the door. You had to know my dad. He looked like an old sea fisherman, beard, had a pipe, hat, the works. And so there's a knock at the door while we're all having this big party, and somebody looks out the peephole and says, "It's some guy with a beard and a pipe."
Oh, gosh.
And I went, "Oh, no." And everybody shut up until my dad went away. And then later on, of course, years later, I said, "Well, we knew that it was you at the door." And he said, "I knew you were behind the door." So, yeah.
All right.
I wasn't like, I never did stuff like that. So...
No,
never.
Never.
I wasn't. Well, I did that time, but that wasn't like my parents were very, very, very strict. I can't even begin to tell you how strict. So
that's why you wild out.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Are you pointing at me?
I'm pointing at you, man.
Why are you pointing at me?
Well, okay. Would you say that you're a strict parent?
No, not necessarily.
If I had Kennedy right here, what would she say?
She would probably give you a different answer. And then I'd give her that look.
That's exactly right.
I'd give her that look,
and
she'd be like, he's great, actually. He's great.
There you go. All right.
I did remember one thing. So my buddy, Chris Kelly, we hung out with a group of Chris's. And he had license plates up hanging in his garage from all the different places that they lived. And he had what was the car? It was like a red Geo something. It was like the lousiest car. But he got it at 14. From his grandmother who passed away, and it sat in his driveway with no license plates on it, except every Friday night when we would wait until about 2 a.m., and we would take the license plates off of the wall in the garage, and we would put the Rhode Island plates on the car, and then we would go joyriding.
Wow.
And we did it so much that it became second nature, and I wasn't with him when he got caught, But he got so used to doing it that one night he got pulled over, and the police officer came up to the window, and he said, and he knew he was screwed. But he goes, "Hey, missing something on the back of your car there, bud." And he's like, "What?" "No license plates." He had gotten so used to taking that car out that he forgot to put the plates on. Awesome.
All right, speaking of dumb, Billie Eilish. This is where the content starts. So I got some video here, Sam. So this was Billie Eilish. A lot of people talked about this, and where she is screaming about, I guess, no one is illegal on stolen land.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Right.
Stunning and brave.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter. And
so
then she says F ICE.
Yeah.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love she says it's really hard to know what to say, but then she repeats every liberal Democrat talking point when it comes to
clearly she got the memo, and everybody's wearing the little pins and everything.
Yeah.
Well, as it turns out, so people start mocking Billie Eilish because she's got a huge $3 million mansion. Well, then, as it turns out, she herself actually lives on stolen land. According to what's the tribe?
The Tongva tribe.
The Tongva tribe. The LA Basin's original people have now come out and said, hey, Billie, thanks for the shout out. Can we have our land back? And again, she lives behind gates as well. So, I find that absolutely hilarious. And I don't know if anybody's going to, really call her out on this, but they should.
Oh, they absolutely should.
Oh, there's an influencer from Australia trying to get like a GoFundMe to go stay at her parents' Malibu mansion.
There was a reporter out there. I just saw this on Twitter somewhere. A reporter went out to the gates in front of her house, knocking on the gates. Hey.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Well, can I ask a question? I don't know this. Is Billie Eilish a man or a woman? I mean, I'm looking at what looks like a woman, but these days you don't know, and they're so woke.
Yeah.
Is Billie Eilish an actual woman?
Yes.
Because it's Billie, which is it IE?
I'm pretty sure.
Sam.
It's IE, yes.
It's IE? Okay, very good. All right.
Pretty sure she's a woman.
So do you think do we need to do a Daily Dan poll on whether or not Billie Eilish will give back her stolen land? Or we all pretty much...
I think we all know.
Do we all know?
We all know that land is staying right where it is under her ownership.
All right, very good.
And she will not be hosting any illegals on her property.
No, although, listen, if you know what, could she maybe go host some of these Tongva tribe people?
She could go back.
I mean, it's their land, so she can just come stay in my spare room. I got like $3 million worth of room. Why not?
To be fair, in California, a $3 million home is not really that great, right?
She's got a pool. They can go swimming in she could hold a pool party for the Tongva tribe. That's what they need. Whatever. All right, what do you got?
I don't really have anything better, but I did find a story about a frozen lizard.
Okay, go.
This was in Rhode Island. Lizard in a blizzard.
Okay.
This guy found a large, cold-blooded reptile buried in the snow during a blizzard just a couple days ago.
Aw.
The New England Wildlife Center said the Providence man spotted the tegu lizard from his driveway on Tuesday. The reptile was quickly brought indoors, wrapped in a T-shirt to help conserve heat. The E.T. Reptiles, a reptile store in Rhode Island, picked him up and nursed him back to health. He had frostbite.
Aw.
Lizard almost died. I probably would have let the lizard die, though. Would you have brought a massive lizard into your home? Strange lizard? Not a lizard you know.
How?
But
I brought home worse than a strange lizard, but moving right along.
Jeez.
How big was the lizard?
The thing is big. It looked like it was
like an iguana lizard, like
bigger, like 2 feet long.
Do you have a picture of it?
I do, but it doesn't really give it justice on the size.
Is it like Komodo dragon big?
It looked like Komodo dragon.
Like a Komodo dragon. All right.
Yeah, I probably would have just shot it.
Wow. You're a pretty good shot if you can hit that thing.
I would have got close.
Oh. Joan, you got anything? Because we're you know what, Chris, if that's all you brought and that's all I brought, and Sam is clearly.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Yesterday it was a butt bomb. Today we're talking about lizards.
Sam is clearly not engaged. She's in there talking to Mason, and Joan has anything. Guys, I'm sorry, but I have no choice.
We'll take our stand for this land and the stranger.
And listen, if nobody's bringing anything, I'm just going to throw down little Bruce. I'm sorry, guys.
It's like fingernails on a chalkboard.
No!
So good. So good.
How about new? On the streets of Minneapolis.
Right away.
You know, Minneapolis doesn't exactly roll off the tongue when you're trying to do a song. Is there any other songs that actually feature the word Minneapolis?
I don't know.
You know, if there's one person who actually sounds like he needs throat coat more than me, it is Bruce Springsteen.
Yep, you're absolutely
Every
right.
Peanuts book known to man.
What? What's that from?
It's. I was talking about Peanuts, Charlie Brown, that kind of thing.
Oh.
And people thought every Peanuts book known to man. And people, it was one of those moments where you go through a 10-minute monologue and then you go to the text line and people are like, why do you keep talking about, I would love a piece of that wood.
To be fair, it just sounds like you forgot the T. It doesn't sound like you replaced the U with an I.
I didn't realize I was doing any of that, but until I shut off the mic and went. And you know, the best part about that whole thing was that Joan and Sam allowed me to go through that entire segment saying what I was saying, and nobody stepped in to say, hey, Dan, you're swallowing the T.
Damn straight we did.
They let me, go ahead and do that. And, if they ever do that again, I'm just going to
take our stand.
Just do this again.
I love it. That's hilarious.
All right, I'm sorry.
Somebody wanted to know why there was no lizard in the butt joke.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We missed opportunities.
No lizard in the butt. Oh, hearkening back to yesterday.
Yes.
To be fair, I didn't really prep for this segment at all.